If you already have a basic understanding of the chemistry around sugar, you will appreciate this video because it may just give you a convenient way of being able to explain it to somebody else. And if there is stuff in this video that you haven't heard about, you will find it interesting too, because it really must be food for thought, and excuse the pun on food. Welcome to Shapefixer. I'm Andrew. I'm a nutritionist and a biochemist, and very quickly I'm going to explain to you the bottom line when it comes to sugar. Right, let's go. In our diet, in the food we eat, there are three molecules, three different forms that sugar can take. Just three. Glucose, which becomes blood sugar, fructose and galactose. Now we can't process those. So those have to go to your liver, where they are converted to glucose and then released into your blood. So they all end up as glucose in your blood. They all end up as blood sugar. In addition to those three, there are plenty of other sugars, but they are combinations of these. These are called monosaccharides because they're just one molecule, okay? Disaccharides are two, so you can take any two of these and link them together, and then it gets another name. Table sugar is called sucrose, and table sugar is glucose and fructose linked together. And when we talk about sugar in our daily lives, we generally talk about sucrose, because we say sugar and we picture these white crystals in a little dish on the table, or we buy a bag of sugar. We're buying a bag of sucrose. Everybody now finally accepts, I think it's pretty much everybody, in spite of years of pushback from the food industry, that sugar, so table sugar, is bad for you and you need to cut it down, okay? So you don't put so much sugar in your coffee, don't put sugar all over your food, don't put so much sugar in your baking. We're talking about sucrose. Everybody knows it's bad for them. Right, park that for a minute and let's talk very quickly about the other forms that sugar can take, because sugar doesn't always come as one molecule or two. You can get a whole lot of them linked together in a chain, and these are called polysaccharides. Okay, not important, you don't have to remember that. Chains of glucose molecules or blood sugar molecules, but in a chain. And animals make them, you make them. When you have spare sugar in your blood and you're not going to burn it all straight away, it gets converted to glycogen. The sugars get linked together in this chain, they get rolled up in a ball and stored, usually in your muscles or in your liver. That is called glycogen. And when you start getting a bit tired and you haven't eaten and you're still needing to operate and to exercise, that glycogen gets broken down again back into glucose into your bloodstream and off to your cells to burn. Works fine. Plants do the same thing, but plants are slightly different from us. For starters, they don't have a liver. So when plants need to store their sugar, they don't do it as glycogen. Plants store their sugar as starch, which is also a long line of glucose molecules all rolled up. Starch, which we are told, or sometimes it's called a complex carbohydrate. Okay, a carbohydrate is anything made of sugar. And it's complex because why? Because it's a chain. Okay, it's a chain of glucose molecules. And we are told that these are good for us, that we must eat lots of grains and lots of starches, and it must be up to 40% of our diet, for heaven's sake. Okay, fine. Let's assume that's true. If that was true, that starch is so good for you, you're saying glucose is good for you. But you've already said that sugar, table sugar, is very bad for you, and table sugar is half glucose. So if that's true as well, then glucose is not the problem in the sugar, in the table sugar. Are you following me? Starch is good, starch is made of glucose. Table sugar is bad, but it's half glucose. So, okay, so that half must be fine. So the problem with table sugar must be the other half, and that other half is fructose. But fructose has another name. Fructose is also called fruit sugar. And we are told that we need to eat lots of fruit, and fruit is good for us, and it's full of natural, healthy sugars. What, like fructose? So hang on a minute. Fructose is good for me. It comes in fruit. Glucose is good for me because that's what starch is. But when I take glucose and fructose together and I make table sugar. Oh, I mustn't eat the table sugar. Table sugar is bad for me. Something's not making any sense here. It's all BS. It's all sugar. Anything to confuse us is good for the food industry because they can carry on processing grains, making lots of carbohydrate-based foods that are cheap to produce, easy to transport, easy to store, don't spoil, and the profit margin is absolutely huge. And we stay unhealthy and we end up with obesity and diabetes and all sorts. Now, the good news is, what is the recommended daily allowance for sugar? It doesn't exist. Because why? Because you don't actually need it. It's not a nutrient. It's not an essential nutrient at all. There's no such thing as an essential sugar. It doesn't build anything. It doesn't construct hormones. It's not an integral part, a structural part of anything in your body. You don't need it. Now, obviously, you need energy, and you can burn sugar for energy, but you don't have to, because you can burn fat and oils. But you can't burn fat if you are burning sugar, which is why you're overweight and you can't lose weight. You cannot lose weight because you can't burn your body fat because you're eating carbohydrates. So get away from the grains, get away from the starches, and then you will be able to lose weight and burn your body fat. And the real bonus is that operating as a fat burning machine instead of a sugar burning machine keeps your blood sugar down, keeps your insulin down, reverses your insulin resistance, reverses even type 2 diabetes. If you have full-blown type 2 diabetes, you can absolutely reverse it in 3 to 6 months if you go on a low sugar, high fat diet. That's all I wanted to say. Starch is good for you, fruit is good for you, table sugar is bad for you. That makes no sense because table sugar is part starch and part fruit sugar. None of it makes any sense. Sugar is just bad. Thank you for watching. Please share this video with anybody who wants to have that debate with you. And thank you for subscribing to our channel.